What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now today's episode we're going to do a 1-year review on the 2022 Toyota Tacoma TRD Sport 4x4 6-speed access cab. So let's go ahead and take an in-depth look. Alrighty, approximately 1 year ago I purchased this 2022 Toyota Tacoma TRD Sport access cab in Lunar Rock with a 6-speed manual transmission up in New York State. So with today's video, I'm going to show you guys what changes I made to the truck, what complaints I have, what I like about it, and would I buy this truck again. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, in the introduction video, had a lot of comments asking about the window sticker, so I went ahead and brought it with me. We're going to go over it in full detail. So getting started in the upper left, Tacoma TRD Sport 4x4 access cab in Lunar Rock. And the gas mileage is claiming an 18 average, 17 city, 21 highway. Now personally, I average about 17 to 19. It just depends how much ratio of city to highway driving I do. And by the way, this takes regular fuel. No need to go over all these details right here, but let's go in the options. Now the first option is something I definitely wanted, which is the LED headlights. It's got a nice halo ring around it for running lights. And also the bulbs itself, actually there are about 3 or 4 LEDs in there. So there's not just like plug-in LED bulbs. Amazing light output at night. And then this one's got the TRD Premium Sport package. I really didn't want that one because I thought it had the JBL radio, and turns out it's not the JBL. JBL is only available in the double cabs, but this has the heated seats and larger screen. And then this one's got the tonneau cover for another $650. As you can see, tonneau cover is still in place. I really didn't want this thing at first, but the more I use it, the more I like it. And this also has the technology package, which has the parking sonar and blind spot monitor. And if you get the tech package, your truck's going to have body colored bumpers right there. If it doesn't have it, it's going to come with chrome caps. So that's one good plus about the tech package. And over here on the mirrors, you got the blind spot monitors as well. And we also got the wheel locks for $80. Didn't want that because I got some aftermarket wheels that no longer utilize those locks. And we got the mud guards for $129, which I still have in place. And got the rear mud guards and the front mud guards, which I do still like because it basically protects the paint, especially on the underside of the body right there. Okay, so the base price of this truck without shipping is $35,300. With all these options and plus the delivery process and handling right here of $1,215, we're at $40,769. And that's the price I paid for this truck. I bought this in the peak of the COVID pandemic and I refused to pay above dealer markup. So fortunately, when I was searching for this truck, there's actually an online inventory that someone put together, and this truck was on that inventory. So I went ahead and called the dealer, and they told me that the truck was pre-sold. So after the dealership had my contact information, they called me up a month later saying that the customer has backed out of this truck, and they asked me if I wanted it, and I said, well, go ahead and send me the spec sheet. And sure enough, I liked what I saw, especially with those LED headlights, and I was like, all right, let's go ahead and make this happen. So I went ahead and took the 7-hour trip with my neighbor's truck and my friend's trailer, strapped this thing down the trailer and drove back down to Virginia, and here we are a year later. Now another cool thing about this 2022 Tacoma is when I bought this thing, the build sheet was inside still. So taking a closer look, seeing the date is February 22nd of 2022, 7/49. That was when this truck was built. Now initially, I thought this paper was for a freight invoice, but taking a look below, there's basically all your options right there of how this truck is spec'd out. So taking a closer look at the bottom of the sheet right here, you got these letters indicated, so it's basically how this truck is spec'd out. And basically these coordinate with the window sticker. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the VIN sticker on the driver's side door opening. And here's our date, February 2022, for a 2022 Toyota Tacoma, 2/22/22. How awesome is that? So that makes this truck a lot more special to me, being February 22nd of 2022. And as you may have noticed, this truck looks a little bit different than what a factory OEM TRD Sport looks like, as I've done some enhancements on this thing. So let me go ahead and start from back to front and show you what I've done to this truck so far. Okay, starting with this back tailgate, I went ahead and put the OEM Tacoma inserts in here. You can actually get those in chrome as well, but I wanted the black. And for those wondering what the material is like, this is a very hard vinyl, so there's a little bit of flex to it. I know there's a lot of aftermarket suppliers that sell these things, but I just wanted something that's quality. And then going here in the bed, excuse the mess, I've been using this as a truck. And I did put the OEM bed lights. Let me go ahead and turn the switch on, show you how these things work. I actually had to add this switch because access cabs don't come with a switch right here. So go ahead and turn the switch to on. And there they are. lit up like they should. And there's driver's side. Now it's obviously daytime, so you can't see the illumination like these things really put out at nighttime, but that's a nice little feature. I think the lights were $60, $65, but however, that switch on the panel, that was expensive. That was like 70, maybe 75 bucks. I did a review on that, so if you want to check that out, feel free to watch that video. Remember to turn these things off here. And as far as the taillights are concerned, these are 2021 through 2023 TRD Pro taillights. These basically have the black trim inside here. Now the TRD Sport and the TRD Off-Road has a lot of chrome. I didn't want that. So I basically sold the OEM taillights for almost the price of these TRD Pros, because I think there was a 20% off sale plus free shipping. So selling off the OEM TRD Sport taillights was almost a washout with upgrading to the Pros. I like the way this thing looks, and I know the quality's there, unlike some of the aftermarket units. And the biggest upgrade I've made on this truck is the lift and the wheels and tires. Now the rear lift is Icon RXT leaf packs. I left it in a stock setting. That netted me about a 2.25 inch lift on the rear. And I've got some Bilstein shocks as well. And these are the Bilstein 5125s, FYI. They have more flex than the typical 5100s. And then for their front suspension, I've got iBox Stage 1, which consists of new coil springs and new adjustable shocks with 3 perch settings. This is on the 2nd perch setting. Now the first notch setting only netted me about a 1.5 inch lift on the front, and I didn't coordinate too well with the Icon RXT lift. So I went ahead and took it back apart, put it on the 2nd perch, and now I'm about a 2 inch lift on the front. So in my opinion, I think the lift turned out fantastic. It's not too drastic and it's not too overkill. It's just right for daily driving if I want to do that. And now if you go past 3 inches on a Toyota Tacoma, there's a lot more can of worms you can open up. I mean, just for an example, you're gonna be changing out your upper control arm. You're gonna have to put a differential drop kit on the front and a whole other slew of options in order to get this thing riding right. I actually went ahead and put some 1.5 inch degree shims on the rear axle right there. And I even put some spacers on the axle carrier bearing as well, just to eliminate any potential vibrations on the highway this thing would have, because you're basically changing the drive shaft angles when you put a lift on a truck. And then for the wheels and tires, these are Ray's 57 DRX in bronze. These are an 18x9 with a 0 offset. I could have got an 18x9 with a -10 offset, which would have pushed those wheels another ½ inch or so outside the fender. But I thought that may be overkill and that may potentially rub on the front fender right there. But if you take a look at the current poker mount that I've got right now, I think it's perfect. Basically, it's almost flush with the top of the fender as far as the tread goes, and the bulge of the tire just pops right out just barely. So I can look at my side view mirror and basically see the side of the tires just rotating. It's pretty awesome. Now the factory wheels and tires, they were way recessed into the truck, and I just hate that look. So I believe this is perfect with a 0 offset. And as far as the tires concerned, these are Toyo Open Country AT3s and a 275/65/18 tire. These are one size taller and one size wider than the factory. Factory is a 265/65/17, I believe it is. So basically upgrading to this size gave the truck another 1 inch of height with the increased diameter of the tire. I think 275s is a perfect fit. Not too narrow the 265, not too wide the 285. So 275 seems to be a happy medium. I don't know, what do you guys think? I think I should have tried a 285 on this, but I think 275 got some good width to it. Okay, and I have left the bed decals on this truck. I like the way these things look. It gives the truck character. A lot of people peel these things off, but you know, you got the red right here. You know, the red coordinates with the center caps on the wheels. You know, you got the black letters, black coordinates with the black taillights. And on top of the black, we got black TRD Pro emblems. These are not overlays. I had a hard time finding the part number, so I had to actually reach out to a Toyota dealer, and he gave me the part number. So basically I had to take some dental floss and a heat gun, take the chrome emblems off, mark where it's at, and then go ahead and apply these TRD Pro gloss black emblems. So these are not overlays, and these are the real deal TRD Pro piano black emblems. I really like those. Another black accent item is these mirror turn signals. These are solid black, and these are actually sequential. Now the factory ones are chrome, and they have one single bulb right there, and they're very dimly lit. So let me go ahead and give you a demonstration of how these things light up. These things are pretty awesome. And that's how they light up. And when you see this thing at night, it's really awesome. So while I got the hazards on, let me go ahead and show you guys the turn signals on the LED headlights. And here's the optional LED headlight turn signals right here. As you can see, it's sequential right here, built into the halo ring. Really love these things. Well worth the $485 upcharge for these LED headlights, by the way. Now, I promised myself not to get a Pro grill, and I didn't do that. This is actually the Trail Edition grill right here. And as you can see, the letters right here, Toyota, actually these are in bronze. So those bronze letters on the grill coordinate very well with those bronze wheels. I really like how that turned out. Now, I believe this grill was about $200 shipped. However, this TSS garnish plate, they call this thing, these things are very expensive. So I actually found a bargain on this thing online of $250 from someone on eBay, and this was the real deal. Now, I believe Toyota asked like $350, $375 or so for this garnish plate. Now, I believe why Toyota put such a big markup on these garnish plates is to try and keep away all the TRD Sport and TRD off-road owners from upgrading to the TRD Pro grill. But there is a lot of aftermarket garnish plates, and they're heavily accented in like bright silver, but this is like a really faint silver, so you step away and it almost like blends in with the grill, which is what I like. Plus it's OEM quality. The front license plate holder, I made that myself with some scrap metal from like an HVAC furnace cover. So it's basically an L channel, and I actually used some existing bolts on the underside of the bumper. I did not want to drill in to the front of the bumper of this truck. I'm not a big fan of front license plates, so this is a good solution right there. And one final part on the outside of the truck is this Toyota exhaust finisher piece. So this is a black chrome. I actually make this in chrome as well, but going with the black accent on this truck, I think this is fitting right here. So I believe this thing was like $65, and it comes with a clamp as well. So it gives it a nice touch. Otherwise, it's basically just a exposed metal exhaust, and it's just basically cut straight off right there. All right, let's go ahead and move on the inside of the truck and show you what's going on. And the last item I forgot to mention for the exterior is this window tint. This is 20% ceramic, matches the rear quarter glass and the rear glass perfectly. So if you guys are wondering what matches perfect, 20% in my opinion matches the factory glass just right. Now, if I went with 35%, that'd be too light. Limo black, obviously it's gonna be way too dark. So 20% seems to be a magic number for matching Toyota glass. Okay, I haven't done too much on the inside of the truck. And as you can see, I actually went ahead and put the OEM sill plate protectors on the sills right there. No matter how careful you are, you will scuff up these sills if you don't have protectors on them. So this is basically an adhesive protector, and it just basically peels and sticks, or you can use some solution to try and position it in there. But the best way is to actually pull up the plastic and the rubber molding, slip it on there, and then reassemble everything. And there's the rear right there. Basically it coordinates with the front. Toyota emblem right there, and Tacoma letters. Now, one of the biggest upgrades I've done is actually the parking brake boot and the shifter boot. What comes in these trucks is a very thin black vinyl. I thought it looked very cheap, so upgrading this is made by Redline Goods, I believe it is. So actually I was able to choose what kind of leather I wanted, what color, and this is actually a black perforated, and then wanted red stitching. So it basically matches well with the TRD Pro shift knob. And this right here is a TRD Pro shift knob I bought separately. As you can see, it's got red accents on the side and red stitching as well right there on the front. And as of today, the truck has 7,273 miles. Now, I usually stick local with this truck. However, I have taken this truck to North Carolina and back about 5 times now. And as far as the floor protection is concerned, these are Toyota OEM floor mats. These are made of a nice rubber. They fit perfectly. Now, you have to make sure that you get the manual transmission version, because automatic version differs, with the size and whatnot. I believe it's the shape of the footrest right here. So if you're getting some Toyota OEM floor liners, just make sure to order the right ones, whether it's a manual or automatic version. And the same thing back here. This is a Toyota OEM floor mat that comes with the set. So this is a nice thick rubber, protects the carpets, and the fit and function is perfect on these things. All right, now referencing back to the window sticker with the premium technology package, this has the larger radio screen right here. Now, if you didn't get this, radio screen will be smaller by about 1 or 2 inches. I don't know the exact dimensions, but it gives you a larger screen right here on top of that XM radio. And then you get the seat heater controls right there as well. Let me go ahead and turn the truck on and show you guys this screen right here. And here's basically what the radio screen looks like. You got the menu on the left-hand side, and you actually got knobs on the left and right side. Also, upgrade the knobs to RAV4 Prime knobs. The stock ones are like a very small plastic, so that's a very popular modification for this truck. So I love these rubber knobs right here with like the rubber turbine effect to it, and they're much larger. And these little circles right here light up at night as well. And here's seat heater controls. You got 3 level settings. There's 3, That's 2, that's 1, and that's off. And to the right side of the seat heat level, you got your HVAC fan speed, and you got your AC mode right there. Typical HVAC controls, 4-wheel drive and 2-wheel drive control. And one of the best things I like about this truck is the turnkey. I actually love this thing. I'm not a big fan of key fobs on cars and trucks. Had a 2016 Mustang with one, never liked it. But when I found out the 6-speed Tacomas have the regular key, I was just ecstatic. Love this thing, and I have no regrets having a key for the ignition right there, as opposed to those key fobs, which are very vulnerable for theft, by the way. Now, many people may not think the Access Cab has a lot of space back here, which it's a little bit true, but however, I've had 2 adults back here. My mom's been back here riding, and I actually have my friend's wife and kids back here as well. It's a little tight, have to roll the seat forward a little bit, but it works. Now, if you're gonna transport 4 people or more usually, just go ahead and do yourself a favor and get the double cab. Yeah, basically, these headrests just basically fold right up. You push this lever forward, pull the seat down, and there we have it. We got some back seats. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a demonstration of what it looks like with me being 6'1" in the back of an Access Cab. But I'm gonna have to go ahead and roll that front seat forward because I'm gonna need some knee space. All right, I got the front seat rolled up about midway, so let me go ahead and see if I can fit in this thing here. Now, as you can see, it's kind of a tight fit, but it relatively works if I need to go a short distance. Now, if the seat was more forward, I'd have more knee space and that'd be more comfortable, but obviously not all the drivers are short. So Access Cabs can work if you need to take short distances with 4 people. Okay, another thing I forgot to mention on the interior upgrades, I actually upgraded the dash tweeters to Subaru OEM. For some reason, those are exact fit and exact connectors for Toyota. Someone figured that out on Toyota World. So I went ahead and got the part number and basically pulled this panel up, unbolted the old tweeter, unplugged the wiring harness, put the new one in, put this cover back on, and the highs are much better. And right here on the door speakers, went ahead and pulled this door panel off and replaced the 6x9s that were in place. Toyota uses a very cheap paper speaker with a plastic basket, but these speakers have a metal basket and rubber surround and a plastic woofer, and the bass response is significantly upgraded from the factory Toyota speakers. So it's definitely a worthwhile upgrade, upgrading your door speakers. Okay, the seats are typical cloth. Leather is not available in Access Cab, by the way. There's certain packages like with TRD Off-Road, TRD Sport, and I believe the TRD Pro comes standard with leather interior. Anyhow, these seats are pretty comfortable as it is. Now, they do sell seat jackers on the front, which basically unbolt the seat, raise it up about 1 inch. Now, a lot of people complain that the front of the seat doesn't contact their lower thigh, but however, putting those seat jackers in place raises the seat about 1 inch and gives a much more comfortable ride. Haven't tried that method yet, so I might actually give that a shot. But other than that, no complaints on the seats. Now, you guys are probably asking, how does this truck drive? And the honest answer, this thing drives like a dream for a truck. Now, it's no sports car by any means, but it actually has a very smooth ride, steering is smooth, and that shifter goes through all the gears very smooth. That shifter feels incredible for an OEM truck right there. And the Tacoma 6-speed shifter feels buttery smooth. I love the way this thing shifts. It doesn't need too much of an upgrade. You could put a shorter shifter in there, but I don't see any benefit to that. And I basically just love this truck with a 6-speed transmission. So many people ask me once they find out this truck is a 6-speed manual, why would you get a stick shift in a pickup truck? Well, because it makes the truck that much more fun to drive, that's why. It's not all about whining out the RPMs and banging through the gears. I mean, when you're driving this thing at normal speeds and just, you know, guiding through the gears. So when you're driving the truck at normal speeds and shifting through every gears, it makes the truck that much more enjoyable to drive. Now, I know most people would prefer an automatic transmission, but not me. All my vehicles, I prefer them to have all manual transmissions. In fact, my Project Wagon was an automatic. I converted that to a manual transmission. No regrets at all. So if you're on the fence of getting a 6-speed manual or an automatic Tacoma, definitely choose a 6-speed manual. It makes the truck that much more enjoyable to drive, just an FYI. All right, now that we've seen an interior and exterior tour of the truck, what are your complaints of the 2022 Tacoma? Now, in terms of the complaints of this truck, they're gonna be very small. So for starters, when I upgrade the wheels and tires, Toyota uses a very weird lug nut. It's got like a recessed thread inside the wheel. And when you put aftermarket wheels on there, it actually reduces the amount of threads. So when I upgraded these raised wheels, I had to knock out all the wheel studs and and replace the rears with ARP and the front with Dorman in order to get the proper thread engagement, which is a minimum of 7 turns, I believe. I believe I was only getting 5.5 turns using the OEM studs. So if you're putting aftermarket wheels in a Tacoma, be prepared to change out the wheel studs in order to get safe lug nut engagement. And also, when I upgrade the wheels and tires, I think I'm about 6 pounds more than the OEM setup. And sometimes the engine feels a little sluggish. So I don't know if that's just the way the truck is tuned or whatever, but it is what it is. So these wheels are lightweight. These are 24 pounds. The OEMs were 28. So I was able to save some weight there. But however, the tires, I think they're, I don't know, 10 pounds more or something like that than the OEM 265, 65-17 tires. So I tried to offset the weight by getting lightweight wheels as opposed to getting heavy wheels and heavy tires. Now, this is not so much a complaint. Initially, I would like to have that electric sliding glass right there, but I never actually used that thing. I think I've only slid that thing open twice since I've owned the truck. Now, in certain trim levels of Tundras, they have a completely roll down window on the back side of the truck, and I would love to have that. But that's not an option for Tacoma. So Toyota, if you're listening, please add a full roll down rear window for the Tacoma. That would just be an awesome feature to have. And one thing to note on the instrument cluster is this plastic scratches real easy. So when you clean yours, just be careful, use microfiber towels and not use anything abrasive. As far as the other interior items go, I've got no complaints whatsoever. This is a fantastic truck. Now, the exterior of this truck is called Lunar Rock. It's basically a gray with a small tinge of green in it. Depends on how the light hits it. I was hesitant at first to get this color, but the more I saw pictures of it, the more I loved it. And this color looks fantastic on RAV4s. And it's also available on 4Runner and Tundra as well. So in this angle with the sun hitting, it basically looks like the moon right there. And if we go on the other side, where there's not much sun hitting it, it might have some more green to it, we'll see. I don't know if you can see on camera, but just a little bit darker here on this side. But this color is subjective, whether people like it or not, but I tend to like this color. Now, another complaint that I have is the fit and finish, specifically where the front fenders meet the hood. Let me go ahead and show you guys. Now, someone brought this up on Tacoma boards, and sure enough, they're right. So if you can see the hood and how it meets up with the front fender, the hood comes a little bit lower right there. And also, it's almost like the gap is a lot more on the bottom than it is on the top right there. I don't know, so what do you guys think about that gap right there? Let me show you on the passenger side. Now, the passenger side's just a little bit worse. Basically, the hood has a slight curve to it. And as you can see, the opening is a lot more on the bottom as opposed to how it is right there on the bend. Now, you expect the body gaps to be perfect for a brand new truck, especially the thing is $40,000, but you know, it is what it is. So you just got to take it in small strides. And the main complaint with this truck that I have, and I knew this going forward, is the fuel economy. I'm averaging about 17 to 19 miles per gallon. Just depends on how much highway I do. But now with those fuel economy numbers, that's basically equivalent of a full-size V8, Silverado, F-150, Ram 1500, etc. Plus it's a much bigger package, but this is a mid-sized truck with a V6, and you know, it is what it is. You know, it's a great truck, but I guess that's my main complaint is the fuel economy. Now, another big question that people might ask is, how's the truck ride? Now, the stock sport suspension, it was still smooth, but it's firm. Now, even though this one's lifted with the iBox Stage 1 front and Icon RXT rear leaf packs, it still rides a little bit smooth. You know, maybe not as smooth as the OEM, but it's still a comfortable ride, so I got no complaints lifting this truck up. And this Tacoma now is a total of 3 inches lift. 2 inches on the suspension, and an additional inch on the wheels and tires. So this is the perfect lift in my opinion. 2 inches on suspension, and an additional 1 inch on the wheels and tires. Okay, so with 1 year of ownership on your belt, would you purchase this truck today if you had to again? Absolutely, without a doubt. I love the 6-speed transmission, I love the cab configuration, I love the 6-foot bed, and this is a very reliable truck. It is very well built. So as I mentioned before, if you're on the fence about buying Tacoma, just go ahead and do it. I've got no regrets whatsoever. This truck's gonna hold its value. It should go more than 200,000 miles easily with my maintenance. So absolutely, I would buy this truck in a heartbeat. Alrighty guys, that wraps up the 1 year review of my 2022 Toyota Tacoma TRD Sport 4x4 Access Cab in Lunar Rock with a 6-speed manual transmission. Now, if you got any specific questions on purchasing a Tacoma or any Tacoma questions in general, feel free to comment in the section below. And remember, keep the 6-speed manual transmissions alive. And if you found this video helpful or entertaining, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic day.